Hello, travelers and monster catchers abound. I'm Stella Ferris, and you've crash landed on the Monster Catchers Journal podcast. I hope you enjoyed the riveting tale I'm about to tell you today of how I caught the next glyph. The climb up the Frostspine Reach was miserable. Freezing winds slammed against the rover while loose rocks tumbled endlessly down the cliffs below us. The narrow mountain paths twisted dangerously around massive drops that disappeared into the thick clouds beneath the twin suns and three moons. Luna was gripping the side handle so tightly her knuckles had turned white. "If this rover slips," she muttered, "I'm haunting all of you." "You can't haunt us if we're all dead," Astra replied casually from the driver's seat. "That somehow makes it worse," she replied. Meerno squeaked nervously from Luna's lap, while Ignazura rested beside Zena in the back of the rover, its ruby-striped sapphire body glowing faintly in the dim light. Charlemer lounged behind Astra with its massive shark-like tail hanging over the cargo crates. We had traveled deep into the Frostspine Mountains searching for one specific glyph, the Time Jag, a rare bird glyph capable of teleporting anywhere across the known map using the living compass embedded within its chest. Ancient records claimed that they were peaceful creatures that enjoyed the company of kind people. But there was one warning repeated in every journal entry: never anger a Time Jag. They never forgot faces, never forgot voices, never forget cruelty. And if one hated you, it could find you anywhere, no matter how far you ran. The rover finally reached the summit plateau just as snow began drifting across the cliffs. Huge stone pillars jutted from the mountain like ancient teeth, while forest stretched endlessly below us. Astra killed the engine for a moment. Everything was silent. Then we heard it, a soft chirping sound overhead. I slowly looked up. The Time Jag stood perched on a narrow cliff edge, high above us. Its body looked like a living galaxy. Swirls of deep blues, purples, greens, and shimmering stars moved beneath its feathers like space itself had been folded into the shape of a bird. Embedded directly into the center of its chest was a silver compass with constantly rotating needles. The moment it saw us, the compass stopped spinning, pointing directly at me. "Oh, stars," Zena whispered. The bird tilted its head curiously, then vanished. Flash! Astra screamed. The Time Jag now stood directly beside the rover. No footsteps, no sound. It simply appeared. Luna took 2 careful steps backward. I officially hate teleporting birds. The Time Jag chirped happily before teleporting again. Flash! Now it sat directly on top of Ignazura's head. Ignazura slowly looked upward with visible annoyance. Meerno fainted instantly. Astra burst into laughter while Luna desperately tried to wake Meerno with a glow fruit gummy. The Time Jag continued staring at all of us carefully. Its eyes never blinked. It was memorizing us. Every face, every movement, every scent. Photographic memory. I slowly crouched and pulled a warm, starbound muffin from my satchel. The bird's feathers puffed up immediately. "Oh no," Astra laughed. "It likes muffins." I carefully sat the muffin on a nearby stone and backed away. Flash! The muffin disappeared. Flash! The bird reappeared beside me, chewing proudly. Tiny flecks of glowing cosmic dust drifted from its feathers as it swallowed the muffin whole. Luna stared. "Okay, that's actually adorable." The Time Jag chirped proudly and hopped closer to me. Up close, the compass embedded in its chest ticked softly, like a heartbeat. The needles constantly adjusted themselves, as though mapping the entire world around it. Then suddenly, Charlemer growled. 3 scavengers stepped out from behind the stone pillars, carrying shock rifles. "Well, well," one sneered. "That thing's worth a fortune." The Time Jag instantly stiffened. Its compass began spinning violently too fast. "You picked the worst possible creature to threaten," Astra muttered. The scavengers pointed their rifles toward me. "Hand over the glyph." Flash! The Time Jag vanished. The scavengers looked around nervously. Then all at once, every compass needle curved into the surrounding stones began glowing faintly. Each one slowly turned, pointing behind the scavengers. The Time Jag stood there silently, watching them, its compass rotating once. Then flash! Another Time Jag appeared on the cliffs above. Flash! Another appeared on top of a pillar. Flash! Then more. Dozens of galaxy birds suddenly surrounded the summit from every direction, all staring silently at the scavengers. The men immediately panicked. "We're sorry," one shouted. Too late. Every Time Jag teleported at once. The scavengers screamed and sprinted down the mountain path faster than I thought humans could physically move. One lost both boots. Astra collapsed against Charlemagne, laughing so hard she could barely breathe. Ignazura rumbled with amusement, while Meerno finally regained consciousness, just in time to faint again. The original Time Jag reappeared directly in front of me, calm again, its compass needle slowly turning towards my glyphid. "You trust me?" I whispered. The bird chirped softly, then gently pressed the compass in its chest against the device. The capture sealed peacefully. No struggle, no fear. As the moons and two suns stayed in their normal spot above the Frostspine Reach, I looked out at the endless mountains and realized something unsettling. Somewhere out there, every Time Jag on the known map now knew exactly who we were. "Well, it's time for us to go," I said as we all climbed into the rover. We sped down the winding mountain roads, while snow whipped against the windshields in violent bursts. The Time Jag rested quietly in my lap, its galaxy-like feathers glowing softly beneath the dim cabin lights. Every few seconds the compass embedded in its chest spun gently before settling again, like it was constantly searching or listening. Astra drove faster than usual, while Charlemagne rested behind her again, with its fins twitching nervously. Luna sat beside me, holding Meerno close, while Zena quietly stroked Ignazura's crystal blue fur in the back seat. None of us spoke much. Something about the Time Jag made the entire mountain feel wrong now, like the world itself was watching us. Then I heard it. Laughter. Deep, smooth, unmistakable. Professor Orion. Every muscle in my body locked instantly. The Time Jag's compass began spinning violently. Astra slammed the brake. The rover skidded sideways across the icy trail before finally stopping inches from the cliff edge. "No," Luna whispered. A figure stepped from the snowy fog ahead of us. Professor Orion. Only, something was wrong. His long coat whipped wildly in the mountain winds, but his smile looked colder than I remember. The soft, warmth he once carried was completely gone. Strange glowing compass symbols had been painted across one side of his mechanical arm. "You did a good job fooling those scavengers," Orion said with a slow clap. "Now, hand over the Time Jag before someone gets hurt." The air inside the rover went deathly silent. I slowly stepped out into the snow with the Time Jag still in my arms. "I will never hand this glyph over to you," I shouted. Orion sighed heavily like a disappointed parent. "Stella Ferris, you still don't understand what you found." The Time Jag growled softly. Its compass spun faster. Orion's eyes shifted toward it immediately. "There it is," he whispered almost reverently. "The living map." Luna climbed out beside me. "You lost the right to call yourself our professor when you sided with the council." Orion laughed softly. "You think the council scares me?" The answer chilled me more than the mountain winds. We knew that he wasn't on the council's side. We knew that he had went off on his own because, well, he tried to take us down. He tried to do really horrible experiments on glyphs. Ignazura stepped from the rover with a low crystal growl, while Charlemagne climbed onto the icy path behind Astra, its massive claws scraping against stone. But Orion didn't even flinch. Instead, he slowly raised his mechanical arm, and every compass symbol carved into the surrounding cliffs suddenly lit up. The Time Jag screeched. Its feathers puffed outward in panic. "Oh no," Zena whispered. Orion smiled. "You see," he said calmly, "I spent years studying these glyphs before any of you were even catchers." Then the mountains moved. Flash! A Time Jag appeared atop a nearby cliff. Flash! Another perched beside Orion. Flash! 3 more emerged from the fog above us. Dozens of glowing galaxy birds suddenly surrounded the mountain trail. but unlike before, these looked terrified, not loyal. The compasses embedded in their chests spun wildly as if they were fighting something invisible. You controlled them, I whispered. Orion tilted his head slightly. Control is such an ugly word. You enslaved them, Luna snapped. The time jag is my arms the time jag in my arms trembled violently now. The compass pointed directly at Orion. Then something strange happened. The compass stopped spinning entirely. The bird stared at him silently, watching, remembering, photographic memory, and suddenly I realized something horrifying. The time jag remembered Orion too. Orion slowly stepped closer, handed over Stella Ferris. No! You cannot protect it forever. I can protect it from you. For the first time, Orion's smile disappeared. The mountain winds howled violently around us. Then the time jag suddenly leaped from my arms. Flash! Gone. Orion's eyes widened. Flash! The bird reappeared high above the cliffs. Its compass blazed with brilliant silver light. Flash! Every wild time jag surrounding the mountain vanished instantly. The glowing compass symbols carved into the cliffs shattered all at once. Cracks opened across Orion's mechanical arm. What did you do? He shouted. The time jag screeched again, and suddenly hundreds of compass needles appeared, glowing through the snowy mountains far beyond us. An entire flock was coming. Orion took a slow step backward for the first time. The mountain fog erupted into flashes of light. Flash! 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 Time jags appeared everywhere, on cliffs, on stone pillars, hovering above the rover, all staring directly at Orion. The original time jag landed beside me again, its compass now pointed toward him like an accusation. The flock remembered him, and they hated him. Orion clenched his fist tight before glaring at me. This isn't over. Then he activated something on his mechanical arm and vanished into the snowstorm below the cliffs. Silence returned slowly. The flock of the time jags remained watching the darkness long after he disappeared. Then one by one, flash, 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 they vanished into the night sky. The time jag climbed back into my arms, trembling softly. I gently held it close while staring into the storm below. Professor Orion wasn't hurting the time jags because it was rare. He wanted its compass because somehow the time jag could lead him anywhere on the known map, including an underground sanctuary like ours. The mountain had gone quiet again after Orion disappeared into the snowstorm below. Only the wind still screamed across the cliffs of Frostspine Reach, while flakes of snow drifted beneath the glow of the 3 moons and 2 suns. Nobody moved for a long time. The time jag rested silently in my arms now. Its compass ticked softly every few seconds like a nervous heartbeat. I kept staring into the darkness where Orion had vanished. Something about seeing him again felt wrong. Not just because he was alive. Not just because he had somehow found us. But because he looked different, colder, more dangerous. Luna finally broke the silence. What happened to his arm? Her voice sounded small against the endless wind. I swallowed hard but didn't answer immediately, because honestly I couldn't stop thinking about it either. The last time we had seen Orion, he had been fleeing from the Council of Elders during the chaos beneath Nibiru. Back then, he still looked human. Now, one entire arm had been replaced with metal and glowing compass machinery. And somehow, that terrified me more than the army of time jags. Astra leaned in against the rover quietly, while Charlemagne sat protectively beside her. Whatever happened, she muttered, it definitely wasn't small. Ignazura lowered its head beside Zena with a low rumbling growl, while Meerno peeked nervously from Luna's coat. The wind blew harder. I could still picture Orion standing in the snow smiling at us like we were strangers, like none of the years we spent learning from him had ever mattered. Luna crossed her arms tightly. Do you think that time jags did it? The bird in my arms chirped softly at the sound of its species name. I don't know, I admitted quietly, but it had to be bad enough that he couldn't heal it normally, Zena said. That thought settled heavily over all of us, because healing technology on Nibiru was advanced. Losing an arm permanently wasn't common unless the damage was catastrophic or intentional. Astra frowned toward the valley below. You noticed how the arm moved? I nodded slowly. it hadn't moved naturally. The metal fingers twitched too sharply. The glowing compass symbols pulsed beneath the plating, almost like the arm itself was alive, or powered by something alive. The thought made my stomach twist. Luna looked back toward the cliffs, where the flock of Time Jags had appeared earlier. Whatever happened to him, I think it changed him. No, Astra said quietly. We all looked at her. He was already changed before this. Silence fell again, and deep down I knew she was right. The mechanical arm wasn't what made Orion dangerous. It was just proof of how far he was willing to go now. The Time Jag suddenly pressed closer against my chest, while its compass slowly turned back toward the mountains below, toward Orion, toward the darkness, and for the first time since we escaped underground, I had a horrible feeling Orion was no longer running from anyone, and he would be after us. The massive stone doors of the underground sanctuary groaned shut behind us as the rover rolled into the main cavern. Warm, glowing lanterns illuminated the underground city hidden beneath Nibiru's surface, while waterfalls poured softly along the rocky walls. Normally, the sanctuary felt like home, but after seeing Orion again, everything felt wrong. The Time Jag remained close against my chest while its compass spun nervously beneath its feathers. Ignazura walked beside Xena, silently, while Charlemagne patted behind Astra with an uneasy growl rumbling in its chest. Even Meerno seemed unsettled. The moment we stepped fully into the main area, we froze. A figure stood motionless in the darkness, in the darkest corner of the cavern, watching us. The lantern light barely touched him, but I could still see the faint silver glow of compass symbols running up one metal arm. My heart dropped instantly. "Who are you?" I shouted. The figure chuckled softly. "Come now, Stella Ferris," Orion's voice echoed through the sanctuary. "You know who I am." Luna immediately stepped backward, while Astra cursed under her breath. "How did you get in here?" I demanded. Orion slowly stepped forward from the shadows, his mechanical arm clicking quietly, with every movement. The glowing compass embedded into the metal plating pulsed faintly beneath the cavern lights. "My Time Jags, of course," he said calmly. "They can go anywhere on the known map." The Time Jag in my arms immediately puffed up angrily. Orion's eyes locked onto it instantly. "There you are," he whispered. Ignazura lowered itself protectively in front of Xena, while Charlemagne bared its teeth beside Astra. Orion barely acknowledged them. Instead, he raised his mechanical arm slightly. For the first time, I noticed something horrifying. Tiny compass shards were embedded throughout his metal fingers, and they were moving, like they were alive. "I need yours to keep my arm moving," Orion said coldly, "and I need to teach it a lesson about running away." The Time Jag let out a terrified screech and buried itself against me. Rage exploded through my chest instantly. "I won't let you harm him," I shouted. The entire sanctuary fell silent. Orion tilted his head slightly. Him?" he repeated softly. "You've already bonded with it that deeply?" "He's not yours anymore," Luna snapped. Orion laughed quietly. "You misunderstood," he said. "Time Jags never belonged to anyone. That was always the problem." The compass in his mechanical arms suddenly spun violently, then flashed. 3 Time Jags appeared around the cavern instantly, but these looked sick. Their galaxy-like feathers were dull and patchy. Thin metal bands wrapped around their necks glowing with compass symbols. The sanctuary lights flickered. Meerno squealed and hid behind Luna while Ignazura growled loudly. "You're hurting them," Xena whispered, horrified. Orion's expression darkened slightly. "Necessary sacrifices." The Time Jag in my arm screeched again, and suddenly every wild Time Jag surrounding Orion turned toward him at once. Not loyal, afraid. Astra slowly stepped beside me. "I'm going to be honest," she muttered. "I really want to punch him." "Get in line," Luna whispered. Orion raised his mechanical arm higher. The metal fingers twitched unnaturally. "You have no idea what this creature is capable of," he said. "With enough compass energy, distance becomes meaningless. Entire worlds could be reached." "You're insane," I snapped. "No," Orion answered quietly. "I'm evolving." The air in the sanctuary suddenly became colder. The Time Jag's compass began spinning wildly. Then something unexpected happened. One of Orion's controlled Time Jags slowly stepped away from him. The metal collar around its neck sparked violently. Orion noticed immediately. "Get back here," he growled. The frightened bird looked toward the Time Jag in my arms, then toward me, like it was asking for help. Orion's mechanical arms suddenly jerked violently. Cracks of silver light spread through the metal plating. For the first time, he looked scared. The Time Jag in my arms lifted its head slowly. Its compass stopped spinning, pointing directly at Orion's arm. And then every compass in the cavern, including the ones inside Orion's arm, started spinning completely out of control. Orion's mechanical arms sparked violently as every compass in the sanctuary spun out of control. "What did you do?" Orion shouted. The Time Jag in my arms chirped loudly. Then all the controlled Time Jags turned towards Orion at once. Flash! 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 The birds began teleporting around him so rapidly that silver energy started building into a swirling vortex. Orion stumbled backwards. "Stop this immediately!" Astra grinned. "Oh, this is going to be good." Charlemagne suddenly whipped its giant shark-like tail forward and smacked Orion directly in the chest. Wham! Charla! Astra shouted dramatically. The impact launched Orion straight into the spinning compass vortex. His mechanical arm overloaded instantly. "You have no idea what you're doing!" Flash. A massive beam of silver light erupted through the sanctuary ceiling as Orion blasted upward like a rocket, disappearing into the darkness above. A tiny sparkling star appeared far in the distance. Then ding! Silence. Luna blinked slowly. Did we just take him out? Astra pointed upward, laughing hysterically. "He's blasting out of here, and he's never coming back." "Well, I don't think that he's never coming back, Xena and Luna. So neither one of you probably should say he's never coming back, because he'll probably be back to start some more drama. But we'll be ready." Even Ignazura made a deep rumbling sound that almost sounded like laughter, while Meerno rolled on the floor squeaking happily. The Time Jag puffed up proudly in my arms and gave a victorious little honk. The extra Time Jags left to go back to their natural habitat, but the Time Jag that I had caught chose to stay with me, and I was honored that he stayed with me. I was very happy that he stayed with me because I had grown a bond with him, and like all my other glyphs, he was my child. My baby, my friend, my companion, you know. So, that's how I caught my Time Jag. Well, guys, that's all I have for you for this week, and I hope you enjoyed the story of how I caught the Time Jag.